Hey everybody, it's the Gorillas fan here. Now today's episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is Feeling Pinkie Keen. And it's actually an episode that I have mixed feelings about, but let's get into what it's about. Well, to start out, it's a Pinkie Pie / Twilight episode, and the main focus is Twilight trying to figure out what Pinkie Pie's Pinkie sense is. Well, basically what's going on is anytime Pinkie Pie twitches or something happens to her, like maybe her tail twitches or ear flops or eye twitches or just some little tick that happens with Pinkie Pie, something strange happens. Good example is like her tail twitches and something's gonna fall from the sky. But Twilight washes this off as hokum, pretty much. But Applejack explains that apparently everybody in Ponyville knows about Pinkie Pie's Pinkie sense, so they just play along with it. So when Twilight still isn't convinced, she decides to hook Pinkie up to a machine in an underground laboratory in the library, and gets no results. But it's only when she disconnects Pinkie from the machine that something happens, and Twilight gets a door slammed in her face. Then Twilight decides to resort to drastic measures. She's going to spy on Pinkie safari style to figure out how the whole Pinkie sense works. And what follows is some of the best slapstick I've ever seen in my entire life. Keep in mind that the two basic elements of slapstick are surprise and misfortune. It has to come out of nowhere, and the person has to be in pain. And everything in this episode that happens to Twilight is executed perfectly. There's the scene where Twilight throughout the episode has been hit with open doors whenever Pinkie Pie does a certain combination. But when Twilight's at Applejack's barn, she expects that the barn door is going to open on her. Like, she thinks that it's not going to happen, and then she walks away, and she doesn't expect the cellar door that's right in front of her that she doesn't see to open up, and she falls into the cellar. Then another funny scene was when Pinkie's tail twitches again, and a whole bunch of stuff, including a piano, falls on Twilight's head. But Pinkie, for some reason, knew that Twilight was spying on her, and all of a sudden gets a full body jitter, like indicating that something big is about to happen. And for some reason they believe that it's going to happen to Fluttershy, who earlier was seen taking frogs to a bog. Froggy Bottom Bog, I think the name was. The name escapes me, but I'm just gonna go with that. So they go to the bog, and they try to find Fluttershy, and she's okay. And Twilight's about to gloat, but then she, Applejack, Pinkie Pie, and Fluttershy, and I think Spike is there too, they all get attacked by a Hydra. What's a Hydra doing in a bog? I have no idea. So the Hydra gives chase, and the four ponies and Spike have to cross a huge cliff, and Pinkie Pie's Pinkie sense tells Twilight, who's pretty much the last to cross. Oh, by the way, they have to cross like the pillars of rocks that jutting out from the bottom of the cliff. And apparently the Hydra knocked down a whole bunch after everyone else crossed, so Twilight has to take a leap of faith in order to get across. And that's what Pinkie Pie says. But she does, and for sheer dumb luck, she lands on a bubble that bounces her all the way up to the rocks and bounces her to the other side of the ledge. And then Pinkie Pie gets the full jitters again, indicating that the Hydra wasn't the doozy that she was predicting. The jitters only stopped when Twilight accepted the fact that she can't really explain Pinkie's pinky sense and just gives up on the whole thing. And then here we get what many people claim to be the biggest problem of the episode, the moral. Twilight says that, yeah, there are some things in this world that you can't explain, but what really pisses a lot of people off is the way she says it. She says that you can choose to believe it or not, but in real life, that's not how it works. Your experiences decide your beliefs. So, yeah, is the moral weak in this episode? Yes. Does that mean the episode is completely bad? Not really. I mean, for one thing, the highlight of the episode isn't the moral, but the slapstick. The slapstick was a lot of fun to look at. It wasn't cringeworthy or painful like in modern SpongeBob. And it keeps it from being a terrible, terrible episode. So, that's Feeling Pinkie Keen, and that's all I've got for this week. Saturday I'll be in Chicago, and next week I won't be in front of the camera because my parents are going to be using it for a vacation. So instead I'm going to use Audition to do the next episode, just to give my voice recordings and that sort of thing. So until next week, this is the Gorillas Fan, signing out.